20% of the cars in Oslo are actually electric because they want to contribute to environmentally friendly, to a greener planet, such as this. Ta-da! Guys, I'm sorry, I've only ever seen a Lamborghini, but this is our cab. And that's our cab driver. And he gets all the ladies, I swear. Hi! What's your name? This is Paul. This is his dad's car, and now I'm gonna enter, really pretentious, even if we know that there are more passengers, but it's just me. So let's close the door now. Bye! Move it. So this is the Viking Museum, and that ship behind me is said to be the burial ship, or rather back in the days of the Vikings, when royalty died or when people died, they had ships to actually bury them to the next life, and that was of Queen Asha, well, studies suggest. And when you are brought on to the next life, you bring with you all your belongings from Earth, whether your horses, your chariots, like can you see? Like this one over here. So all the display on the other side of the ship, you can see all the belongings that she took with her. And take note of the Scandinavian engraving, which is so cool. And it's very corny for me to say, but it reminds me of Game of Thrones and all their armor. But yeah, I think it's really so interesting how they even found her bones, and there's actually bones as well of a young girl, and they suspect that maybe, just maybe, it must have been her servant, a female servant. So belongings include people as well. So here's some trivia for you. So we've been around Scandinavia, and it's here we learned that it's actually the Norwegian Vikings who discovered the Americas. I'm sure the Portuguese are not going to be too happy about that, but there's actual scientific proof that they did. Why? Through the Viking ships. Now the Viking ships, they're a little bit more narrow, they're also lighter. That means they could get through all the rough terrain or the rough waters even much better. And the reason why Vikings were such good sailors, well, because their lands were not really great for vegetation, they had to go out and find food. And that is exactly what they did. They explored other parts of the world, and that is how they discovered the Americas. Isn't that amazing? I didn't even know that. So Norwegians are known for the wood, and the reason why is because you can actually, they're bendable, so you can see it's actually curved. And in saying that, you get to use, you don't need a lot of materials, so the boats are much lighter, and when it's lighter, it's much faster. This place is so beautiful. So that sculpture over there was designed by this Monica Bianchini. So what it's supposed to look like when on a good day, when the light reflects, it's supposed to look like an iceberg coming out of the water. And speaking of iceberg, this whole Oslo Opera House was supposed to look like a giant iceberg as well, where in the winter it's filled with so much snow, so from afar it actually looks like it's one giant iceberg. Isn't that extraordinary? And then all the marble that you see here, sorry guys, I'm running out of breath. So the marble you see here, let's say one gets broken, there is a code on each and every single one, so that should it get broken, they just look underneath the marble, and they look at the code and they'll be like, oh, okay, we shall replace that. Nothing short of extraordinary. Amazing. most famous artist in Norway. His name is Vigeland. And they loved his work so much that they had dedicated one whole park to him, which is this. And that big art project, I guess you could say, that he was commissioned to do is called the Circle of Life. And each of the statues here represent like various moments in life that every human being goes through, like being with a mother, feeling loved, being a child, and if you notice also the statues, they are naked. All of them are naked. Now, a lot of European art is usually depicted as naked, and the reason why they do that is so that you could never really point out a certain period that they're from, that they're perfectly timeless. That's so cool. The Circle of Life. That is the theme of this beautiful garden that was designed, and all the structures have been made by this famous Norwegian artist, Vigeland. And I hope I'm saying it, Vigeland. It actually sounds like Vigilant. Now, this whole garden was presented to him, and he could create anything that he wanted according to that theme. And so all the structures that we see is according to that, something very relatable to all of us, which is the circle of life from birth until death, to growing old, to falling in love, to having children, no children, happy or sad. The thing that makes me the most interested is that circle structure right there. But basically, there are these men carrying this big, I don't know what you call it, bowl, I guess, this giant bowl, and the bowl is supposed to represent life. And each and every single man is carrying it in a different way. One's hunched over, one is carrying it so easily, one seems to be giving up, and that represents how we are in life, how we carry the burdens of our life, the trials that we come across. So this garden truly is inspiring and a little bit dark, if I may say, but not to say that the interpretation of it is very uplifting, very real, and very inspiring. Okay, you know, it's so unfortunate that we literally only have an afternoon in Norway. That's why it's so essential to find a tour guide who can teach you things in a snip, who doesn't tell you all the details, but a great overview. And we are so blessed that we have such a great tour guide, whose name is, I have yet to, Mergim
Berisai. So
that's exactly what I said.
Norway tours, yes.
Okay, so where are we now exactly?
We're in the Akershus Fortress. It's the stronghold that kept Oslo independent from the Swedes. It's a really good sightseeing place, but unfortunately you came in the Easter period where it was closed. But you had the chance to see Vigeland's park, which is an amazing park with a lot of statues, over 200 statues. You saw the ski jump, and you had the chance to see some real Viking ships.
Exactly. Yeah. Really, and plus the opera house. The
opera house, yes.
Yeah, so the thing that we really like about Mergim is that, you know, with tour guides, it's usually they're like, hurry up! Yeah. But he even kind of made a detour for the opera house just so that we could take photos. And over here you're even telling us some things about that has nothing to do with the fortress. Now, what is this?
This is Akerbrygget. It used to be not a good place to live until the 70s, but generally you probably heard that Norway is considered to be a really rich country because of the oil. When the oil came, they started rebuilding this part of the town, and now it's one of the most expensive parts of the Oslo. There are only 600 people who live here and over 5,000 people who work there. So you can imagine how rich is this part of the town.
Which is hopefully where we're going to have dinner tonight.
Exactly.
Snazzy. Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
I love it. See, wasn't that such an easy tutorial of Oslo in like 2 minutes? Done. Okay, so we've just finished our tour. It's 7 p.m. and so glad that the sun is still out so I can show you guys this beautiful park. This is the theater square. This is where Mergim had left us. And right behind me is the Parliament building. But more importantly, where are we going to have dinner? Well, this is the Grand Hotel. This is the very first hotel in Oslo. And this is also the hotel. I mean, of course, it's very historical, but more importantly, this is the hotel where all the Nobel Peace Prize winners stay. In fact, Obama stayed in that room over there. It's kind of like at the top and then that middle part there. And then so when he was here, they actually had to reconstruct the windows and make it bulletproof for security purposes. But for us, we're just simple people. We're having dinner at the Grand Cafe. Why are we gonna have dinner at the Grand Cafe? Because in Stockholm, we want to have dinner at the Grand Hotel. Unfortunately, it was fully booked. But this time, because it's a holiday and there's not a lot of people right now in the city, we are hoping to get a table. So are we? Let's find out. So we're here now in the Grand Hotel, and since we only have one night here, we decided that we're gonna have appetizers here first and then maybe move to another restaurant to have something even more Norwegian. So I got a really simple lobster salad, and you know, being the pretentious person that I am, I have to have wine with my cheese platter. Yeah, just a good starter for tonight. Okay, so I'm walking towards the Royal Palace, and what I do know about the royal family is that they don't have any executive power, although they do stand for, or rather they are the symbol of Norway, especially for international public relations. And they are quite loved by the locals. So that's always a good thing, right? All right, there she is. So of course, even if it's cold, no trip is complete without ice cream. Hi!
Yes.
I would like some ice cream too. The vanilla with sprinkles. A cone. A cone. Whoa, that's insane. Thank you so much.
I just want to move
Salamat.
What's
Salamat.
that?
Thank you.
Oh yeah. What's the language? That your language?
Tagalog. Salamat.
Salama.
Salamat.
Salamat.
Yes, salamat. Thank you so much.
You know what? I just want to move to that.
You will move to the Philippines?
Philippines, yeah.
Bring me ice cream.
One love.
Bye.
Peace. What about you?
So I still have the morning left before we head for our flight. Just trying to maximize that time, just like the Nobel Peace Prize Center right there.